So effectively, John, the 3 or 4 months that you think would be wasted with Kieran would in fact be wasted with you learning how to manage an organisation.
Well, I have actually been acting president of USI, so as experience goes on that, I've been and done the job for a distinct while. I think Kieran did hit the nail on the head here. I mean, we do have a new constitution which allows us new staff structures, but the same issues prevail. We still have issues with the grant, we still have issues with graduate employment, we still have issues with fees. And the only way we can get that done is through effective campaigning, effective lobbying, and effective utilisation of the political process. I have done that for an entire year as Eastern Area Officer and Deputy President. I have worked with the Higher Education Authority and the Department of Education. I've met with the Minister on numerous occasions. So in terms of stepping into the job on July 1st and getting the job done, I am the guy for that, and I make no bones about that.
When it comes to experience, you're both the guy. Right, moving on in terms of topics, let's look a small bit at what we just witnessed here in terms of the referendum. You're both clearly in change of an alternate strategy from the current strategy in favour of the absence of fees at the point of entry. How would you be able to lead an organisation had that option won in the referendum? Had the referendum been held tomorrow, or if a referendum is subsequently held, as is likely to be the case, and there's an option that free fees effectively is maintained, how can you then credibly lead the organisation? We'll start with you, John, on this one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's a very, very clear answer. We follow the mandate from the students. We don't set the mandate. And the question is, who has the critical skill set as a leader to take that message forward? If it comes out after the referendum is eventually decided, or the funding issue is eventually decided, that it is 100% exchequer funding, or it is a graduate tax or student contribution, or whatever, you have to ask yourself one question. Who is the best person to lead you in that campaign? And time again, that's me. I've had the results, I have the experience, and I've done it all before. And I know I have the strategies here to completely change the way we are going to campaign. And it involves you, from the ground up, taking on the issues that you care about most, but most importantly, that you get the adequate training and the skill sets yourselves so that you can help us from the ground up.
The same point is applicable to you, given your policy stance earlier?
Sure. Tomorrow, I've been saved from the position of having to vote against my own personal view tomorrow, because I run an organisation which is based on grassroots. We build up the information, we gather it, we gather their views, and we take that on board, and that is what informs the position where possible. That was possible in the case of the referendum, and we put that to our students. They came back with a response which I think it's fair to say 75% of our delegation were not in support of. But because that was the view of our students, every one of us was morally bound to vote in favour of that position. It's not pretty, none of us like it, and I guarantee you that we'll be working hard to influence our students that it's not the best option in the future. However, the students spoke, they are our members, they pay our wages, and it will be the same no matter what the outcome of this or any future referendum is. It is the role of the President to lead the team which will run the campaign, and that campaign is going to need the buy-in of National Council and the students at large. Thank you.
To listen to your first answer there, John, it was very much the used car salesman approach, that you'll sell anything as long as it's going to get you a profit. How can you credibly sell a message that you don't believe in?
Well, it's very, very simple. We have two candidates here with different skill sets. I believe that my skills lie in my ability to persuade, my ability to get people on the ground moving in an issue that they care about, and my media experience. Because I have been there before. I mean, if I have to come up against Vincent Brown or Pat Kenny or whoever, I know how to do it because I've been there and I've done it before and I've done it successfully. So in terms of carrying a message, as I say again, I will repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. I follow the mandate of you. You don't follow the mandate of me. If free fees comes out of that, I'm still the best person based on my experience and my skill set to take the organisation forward and fight for that, regardless of my own personal preference.
Would you agree with that, Kieran?
I wouldn't agree that John is the best, with all the greatest respect. If I did, I should probably be finishing up. I don't know if that was a trick question. Look, media experience is great, and luckily enough I've had the privilege of representing DIT students in the media. I've been on Fox News, that bastion of free media. I've been on France 24, Matt Cooper, the last word. I mean, if we want to start comparing, we can. RTE, the newspapers, the whole shebang. And it's been great. And it's made a damn sight all difference. Because the truth is that right now, the student movement is not taken seriously. That's what I want to do. I want to create an organisation which, first of all, has a message which our students believe. And the proof of our surveys and referenda and everything else is that we're not united by the one position on this. That's why we're afraid to ask the question. It's why we're afraid to go and actually change our minds potentially. Because we know that it's going to be very difficult to stand over. Because we know that we haven't got a clear mechanism of getting the students' views.
Yep.
John?
Not to quote Ronald Reagan, but there he goes again. He has mentioned time and time again that we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to engage students, we need to take ourselves more, or have ourselves taken more seriously. There is a serious missing link there, and that is the how. And that's where I differ from Kieran. I am providing actual plans, actual solutions to the challenges that we face. That is aspirational. This is reality. And that's a sneeze. If you want actual results, tangible results, and plans, not aspirations. And aspirations are great, but they're not going to make your reg fee or your student contribution any lower. Or they're not going to make the grant any bigger. We need reality now, more than ever. And that's what I provide, and that's what Kieran is lacking here today.
Aspirations won't solve all of those issues. Neither did last year's officer board. Things got worse, let's be honest. And things have been getting steadily worse for the past number of years, so that's not a slight on any particular team. It's just simply fact. We need to radically change the way we're doing things. USI as an organisation has proved that it is not currently fit for that. If we look at the attacks that we receive daily on Facebook, they're ludicrous claims. Things like we spend 600,000 on T-shirts for a campaign, all this sort of random stuff that we can't properly face down because we're not fully accountable, because we don't place our accounts, our minutes. A student from DIT isn't able to check the minutes to see if we actually showed up at National Council or at National Congress, to see if we actually were doing what we were elected to do. Students do not have faith in the organisation. They think it's one day in November, a march around Dublin's rainy streets. That's what they believe the organisation is about. I want to create a strong, accountable organisation that, first of all, every one of us believes in, so that we're truly motivated to go back and convince others that we can be effective and that we can make change. It's going to be a slow process. It's not going to all happen this year, but it hasn't been happening for the past 15 either.
Isn't that a fair point, John, that effectively looking pretty or sounding well is not the nitty-gritty of running a national organisation?
Are you insinuating that I'm looking pretty and sounding well? Is that what you're saying?
And that I'm not.
I would... I would remind both candidates that I vote for you both equally. Number one in both boxes, as promised.
Sorry, what was it? You could repeat the question, please.
The question, John, is that listening to Kieran, isn't it clear that your campaign is more style over substance and his is more substance over style?
Well, I mean, I still haven't heard a how. Kieran has talked about building a strong, accountable union. But again, there's a missing how there. I'm providing the how. I say that we bring the campaign back from what was a national strategy and bring it into every single constituency in this country. I'm saying that rather than USI Officer Board leading the campaign, that it's led from the ground up. I'm saying that we're going to do that by training not only sabbatical officers but the students and how to lobby, how to engage with the media, how to campaign themselves so they can engage on the issues that they care about most and make the changes that they want to see. That's actual planning. I haven't heard any of it from the opposition. And that's...
Let's hear some of it.
Sure. First of all, Chair, if I could ask you to also vote Ron, just in the interest of being fair to Fee. I'm quite confident that, whether we've been paying the contribution or whether we've been receiving free education or not, most of you can read. And just as myself, just barely in times, but we can. You can see the clear building blocks in front of you. Basic things like publishing our accounts on a proper functional USI website, greater collaboration with the likes of NUS UK, who've been there before on many of these challenges, who have produced